In this video, we're going all out unplugged on First Texas Homes because you've got some very good things and some very bad things, and we need to talk about both. First up, let's start with some good. First Texas Homes puts a really unique emphasis on their heroes. It's not something you see with every builder. I mean, plenty of builders don't offer any incentives at all, but for First Texas, it's something that's really important to them. So what do I mean by heroes? Well, we're talking employees in the school district, healthcare professionals, government, fire department, police, and of course the military. On their website, they say, heroes come in many forms. They're all around us and sacrifice to make our communities better. We would like to say thank you. Then they continue, First Texas Homes recognizes you for the commitment you have made to strengthen and improve our community. Amazing companies have partnered with First Texas Homes and would like to demonstrate their thanks and gratitude to you. And then they go on, on the website to show all these offers and incentives like appliance packages, furniture gift cards, lender credits, and insurance discounts. I love that they do this. I mean, I think every builder should do this. But of course, that alone isn't enough reason to buy, right? So what kind of product are we talking about here? Well, as the name implies, First Texas builds in Texas, specifically in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. According to their website, they were founded out of over 45 years of family history in residential building and development. First Texas Homes has been building quality homes in Texas well over a quarter century. So sounds good so far. And they do build all over the DFW area. Their website states, with great success in our Texas markets and an ever-increasing presence in the most sought-after communities, First Texas is sure to be building in a neighborhood you'll be proud to call home. They continue saying, as a recognized leader in the industry, First Texas Homes has established a proven track record of putting the needs of our customers first. And yet, I'm gonna be honest, I looked all over and I couldn't find any awards or recognition given to First Texas. If we're talking about a recognized leader with an ever-increasing presence, you would expect to see some kind of awards or recognition, but I couldn't find any. Another interesting element to First Texas is their design flexibility. On their website, they say, our unique approach to home building incorporates in-house architectural planning with unparalleled design flexibility. We believe that allowing our customers to incorporate their vision by making changes to our acclaimed floor plans helps to turn a simple house into a welcoming home. Now, I am going to tell you, that's pretty rare. All right, most production builders do not allow you to come in and change their floor plans. When they refer to structural changes, they're talking about small things, like adding a fireplace. And sometimes even that isn't allowed. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've had buyers choose not to build a home with a builder because they can't add in a bathtub. But First Texas claims they will allow you to actually change their floor plans, and that's a big claim. Now, Grand Homes, a high-end production builder in Texas, allows significant structural changes, but First Texas isn't quite so high-end, so I think it is notable that you have that flexibility with a moderately priced product. If you're the type of person, where you really want a lot of design flexibility, a new build with First Texas could be a real consideration for you. Now that being said, I think it's important that we delve into the bad here by talking about their inspection policies. With a new build, one of the great options you have is verifying the quality of construction throughout each stage with numerous inspections. Like typically, before you even close on the home, you'll have the opportunity to have 3 inspections: a pre-pour, a pre-drywall, and a completion inspection. And that is not the case with First Texas. Here's what they have to say about it. First Texas Homes will honor any third-party inspector list prior to closing as long as the following requirements are met. It is scheduled the day before the first walkthrough. It is a final inspection, as no interim inspections will be honored. First Texas Homes will only allow 1 third-party inspection. First Texas Homes will only honor 1 third-party inspector list. Then they continue saying, if you choose to hire a third-party inspector during your 1-year warranty period, First Texas Homes will not be able to honor the report. So First Texas sells both new builds and inventory options, and their design flexibility really lends itself to a new build option. But you really have to keep that inspection restriction in mind if you decide to build with them. Okay, I mentioned earlier that First Texas is a mid-range builder. So what price range are we talking about here? You'll see homes anywhere from around $358,000 to about $907,000. And I want to give you a little bit of a sample of what homes in those price ranges will look like. All right, so let's take a look at Marine Creek Ranch. It's a First Texas community out in Fort Worth. Homes in the neighborhood by First Texas start at $474,000 and end around like $698,000. Residents have a pretty quick commute to downtown Fort Worth at only 20 minutes, and the amenities aren't bad either. The website shares how Marine Creek Ranch has so much to offer, including a clubhouse, a beautiful sparkling pool, playground, and splash pad. Being in northern Fort Worth, it's zoned to Eagle Mountain Saginaw School District, which is B rated by the TEA. Greatschools.org shows that 15% of their students are scoring above average. In terms of how First Texas fits into the Marine Creek Ranch community, active listings range in price from $289,000 to just under $700,000, with First Texas definitely being the most expensive product out there. Also, when I was reviewing the active listings, I saw owners like Open Door and LLCs and Incs, and that tells me we're getting a rental component of non-owner occupants, plus a general lower demand. Like Open Door is going to pay a lower price, right? So in a hot area, sellers would have no reason to accept the lower price Open Door is going to offer, which means that sellers aren't there, they're not getting a ton of demand. So you have First Texas building a reasonably nice product amidst homes that are potentially turning into rental properties or that are selling to companies like Open Door. And I wouldn't say that's necessarily an ideal area to purchase, but they do have some decently nice homes for sale there at a fairly good prices. Take their Woodford plan, for example. It's a classic one-story with traditional brick, a vaulted roof, and a nice little inset front porch with some decorative stone. They also offer a two-story plan with multiple options. The more traditional brick Caroline plan has some nice soft arches and an oversized front door, or you also have your more modern Stonehaven. It's a little more upgraded than the other two stories with multiple stone and decorative options for the exterior. Now, on the other end of First Texas Homes' price range is a community called Collinsbrook Farm. Now, currently homes there start at $832,000 and top out at just shy of $1 million. The neighborhood is in Frisco, about a 45-minute drive from downtown Dallas. Amenities include a beautiful resort-style pool with sun loungers, picnic tables, event spaces, pond with fountain, picnic pavilion, and playground. Collinsbrook Farm is located on the northern side of Frisco, which is zoned to Prosper ISD, and that is a big incentive for buyers. Both Frisco and Prosper ISDs are A-rated by the TEA, but Prosper ISD is recognized as one of the best in the entire state of Texas. Greatschools.org, incidentally, they just recently updated their ratings, and Prosper ISD went from a 55% of their students scoring above average to a whopping 95% of their students scoring above average. In terms of market insights out at Collinsbrook Farms, it looks like First Texas is holding back on their inventory product. They only have one quick move-in and a few others under contract. They sold just under a dozen homes back at the beginning of 2024. They've more or less been holding off since then. They do still show multiple floor plans as available to build. Now, should you choose to build, you have several elevation options here with multiple brick colors to choose from, along with some stone accents. Plan like the Seville it offers charming window shutters, soft arches over a covered front porch, while larger two-story plans like the Paris showcase an oversized modern front door. This plan also gives the option of a rear entry garage, which isn't super common in new construction. You'll also find two-story homes with the more rustic flair, like the Coventry plan. If you like wood trim and more of the farmhouse style garage door, that one's going to work for you. Now, on the other hand, if you like a more elegant option, they also offer a build with a J-swing garage door, double wrought iron doors, and decorative stone in their Hillwood plan. So you have some nice floor plan options as well as some nice communities with First Texas Homes. Here's a big question though. Are their sales contracts something you want to risk signing? And we've talked about how new construction contracts will often have predatory elements, and First Texas is no different. In fact, of all the builder review videos I've done and all of the contracts I've reviewed, I would say this one with First Texas is among the most important. Right out of the gate, you should know First Texas requires you to pay them before they will even send you your contract to review. I mean, if the inspection restrictions hadn't already stopped me in my tracks, I think this one would. They make money change hands before you can see what you're committing to. Unless you think, surely it's refundable, right? Don't count on it. Here's how the contract reads. Buyer acknowledges and seller provides notice that a $500 administrative fee shall apply to the processing of this contract. Seller, at its sole discretion, may apply this fee should it return any deposits for any reason other than seller termination pursuant to paragraph 15. Seller shall waive such administrative fee should buyer proceed to closing pursuant to this contract. So yeah, you heard that right, all right? They're charging you $500 to process the contract. And remember, this is before you've even had the chance to review the contract. So they're making you pay money before you even know some of it is non-refundable. I mean, you can't even put your eyes on the contract until money changes hands. Now, obviously, we have a blank copy of a First Texas contract that we're using right here in this video if you're wanting to see it. But I personally would never let a non-refundable payment change hands before being able to review a contract and verify that it's non-refundable. So what else is in their contract? Well, you're gonna find the convenience clause. And if you're unfamiliar with what that is, it's basically a clause that allows a builder to terminate the contract at their own convenience. Here's how First Texas phrases theirs. Seller may terminate this contract at any time and for any reason at seller's sole discretion. Many times, builder contracts will give all kinds of cushioning explanations for the convenience clause, but First Texas is very straightforward about it. If they want to cancel the contract, they're going to cancel the contract. They go on though, upon notifying buyer of the termination under this paragraph, seller will return all deposits paid by buyer, including funds designated as non-refundable, plus payment of an additional $500. Buyer acknowledges that the additional $500 is fair and reasonable consideration for seller's right of termination under this paragraph. So while you don't love knowing that the builder can terminate at their sole discretion, at least they'll refund your deposit, should they decide to. Okay, what about penalties for late closing? Here's what they say. If the buyer fails to timely close, seller can terminate the contract and retain all earnest monies and deposits or extend the closing date at seller's discretion. Should a seller extend the closing date, the parties agree that the purchase price of the property will increase by $100 per day starting on the 8th calendar day after the closing date. Fees for extension will be paid prior to closing, not rolled into sales price. They are not refundable and will not be credited back to the buyer at closing. So you are going to pay if you can't close on time, but I have definitely seen worse. Like $100 a day doesn't seem quite as bad when you know that, Kay Hovnanian, for example, they're going to charge you $500 a day. Next, how are taxes prorated at closing with First Texas Homes? According to the contract, all taxes for the current year based upon the preceding year's taxes, if the taxes for the current year have not been set, shall be prorated as of the date of closing of this contract. Any taxes that result from a change of use or ownership of the property shall be the responsibility of the buyer. So just so you know, some builders will allow you to readjust tax prorations after closing. And others are somewhat open-ended, but with First Texas, they are final, like no help for the buyer here with First Texas. Okay, so now that you know what you're getting into with the contract, what's it like to work with them? Well, their website is fairly easy to use. My only gripe is that they don't allow you to filter by lowest to highest price range for communities and vice versa. Based on reviews, seems like they're at least decent to work with. They have a mid-range score with Google reviews, mostly around like the 4-star range. Here's an example of their reviews. We have Collinsbrook Farm, 4.0 stars. Marine Creek Ranch, 4.1 stars. The Villages of Hurricane Creek, 4.4 stars. High Country, 4.5 stars. Bluewood, 3.1 stars. Yelp actually has a surprising amount of review submissions compared to what we generally see for builders on the site. That's not a good sign though, that with 54 submissions and an average rating of 2 stars. The Better Business Bureau, all right? They give an A+ rating, but customer ratings top out at an average of only 1.42 out of 5 stars. There are 25 total complaints in the last 3 years, and 9 complaints closed in the last 12 months. And most of the complaints are not what you want to see either. All right, they're service and repair complaints. Warranty issues, that's always something that I want to keep an eye out for when it comes to builder reviews. And unfortunately, First Texas Homes has quite a few complaints about it. For the most part though, the company responded to each complaint in less than a week. So at least you can count on some good customer service. To the extent that we couldn't find much in the way of documented awards for First Texas, we sure found a heck of a lot of documented complaints. I mean, this really just brings me back around again to the fact that they don't allow multiple inspections. I mean, to the extent that they say they're building this high quality product, I mean, you have to ask yourself, why are they limiting inspections? And unfortunately, it's nothing new, right? This whole concept of limiting inspections. I did an entire video about builders restricting inspections. You can watch that video right here. In the meantime, Wendy out.